Hello and welcome to another manga spotlight. Today's series is Jiya by Akira Toriyama and Masakazu Katsura. So I'm pretty sure everyone's familiar with Toriyama. He was a freaking legend, or I should say he was a legend. Rest in peace. Creator of Dragon Ball, Dr. Slump, Sandland. And for those of you who are not familiar with Katsura, Katsura is the creator of DNA, Video Girl I, Z-Man. Maybe you might be more familiar with Z-Man. If there's any anime fans out there, he did the character design for Tiger and Bunny. And if there's any Nintendo fans out there, he did the character designs for Astral Chain. So yeah, Katsura and Toriyama became friends in the 80s. They worked on a one-shot called Sachi-chan Good. And there's even some rumors, according to Toriyama, that Katsura is the one that came up with the fusion for Dragon Ball. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. That's according to Toriyama, but Katsura denies this. But yeah, they decided to do another short series. This one is only 3 chapters. So very, very short. It did not get axed or anything like that. It was planned to be 3 issues. And yeah, it's a nice little self-contained story. The basic premise is Jiya is an alien and a Galaxy Patrol member on a mission to Earth. His first encounter with humankind is rescuing a rich party girl, Kaede, and her chauffeur, Kyuumonji Yukio, from mountain bandits. Using Kyuumonji's body as a host, Jiya is going to check out rumors of a recent infestation of vampires on Earth that are attacking beautiful young women. Oh, yeah. Really wild and crazy and kind of just out there, kind of what you would expect from Toriyama. We start off with an alien on a spaceship flying just above Earth, and he introduces himself. This is Jiya, and he's a member of the Galactic Patrol. And basically, he has received a report from fellow Galactic Patrol member Steth. And Steth has says that Earth is no good, and that it shouldn't belong to the like Galaxy Union. Basically, there's like an alliance of like other galaxies and planets and stuff. And so the Galaxy Patrolmen are coming around to see if Earth is qualified to join. And if not, then they'll be left alone, basically. And so they received a report from Steth that Earth is no good, but they haven't received any other reports after that. So Jiya has been sent down to check out what's going on with Steth and to see if his report is true or not. As he's like coming down to Earth, we see a vampire with a bunch of giant fleas attacking a city. And yes, you heard that right. A vampire and a bunch of giant fleas. So the giant fleas are just like attacking everybody, stealing like women and taking them to the vampire's hideout. We see how brutal this vampire dude is. We see one moment where we see like a kid crawling out of the wreckage and he's trying to run away. And the vampire just blows him up. So within a couple of pages, we get a kid just being brutally killed. And then he's talking to the soldier and he rips the soldier's ear out. So yeah, this dude is a menace. Meanwhile, Jiya's going around. He's like taking in the sights. He's like, so far things are different. Like Stet said that Earth was like a terrible, horrible looking place, but this place is beautiful. Like I don't know what's going on here. He sees like a water, like a giant, beautiful lake, and he like sips it. Basically, we discover that the power suits that the Galaxy Patrolmen wear are powered by water, or at least they're powered by the same chemicals that make up water. But eventually, he's just kind of like looking around, and that's when we get our other 2 main characters. We have Kyuumonji and Kaede. And Kaede is a rich, spoiled girl. She's on her way to a party, and her chauffeur is Kyuumonji. And Kyuumonji is basically just the kind of it's hard to explain. He's kind of like a lapdog, basically, to Kaede. Like later on, we find out that like he has a crush on her and stuff, so he kind of lets her bully him. But they have 2 flat tires, and Kyuumonji's like, well, I don't know what to do. Like we have 1 spare tire, but we got 2 flat tires here, so we're probably gonna have to walk. And of course, Kaede is like upset because there's giant fleas out there attacking people. There's a party she wants to get to on time. And while he's looking at the tires, he realizes that there's a bunch of caltrops, basically like tire destroying traps. You probably see like policemen using it and stuff like that during high speed chases. So yeah, this was a planned event. someone has planned for them to have 2 flat tires. And that's when some bandits come out. And the bandits start like shooting up the car, start trying to steal the people's items. And they're about to kill Kyuumonji and Kaede when Jiya shows up and basically deflects all the bullets. And then he goes and he beats the crap out of the bandits. And then he starts talking to Kyuumonji and Kaede. But he speaks in a different language, obviously, because he's an alien. So instead, he like roughly grabs the both of them by the head. And by doing that, he's able to like download the language into his brain. And so he's able to communicate with them now. And he basically explains who he is, that he's Jiya, he's a member of the Galactic Patrol, and he's just here to investigate Earth on a mission that he can't tell the two of them, but eventually he does. Yeah, we just get like funny moments where we see Kaede drinking alcohol from a flask. And so Jiya rips it out of her hands, sniffs it, realizes that it's not water, and then punches her in the face. Yeah. Well, I say face, but he basically punches her in the top of the head. And he's like, you got a lot of nerve to dumb your brain with this indecent beverage in front of a galactic patrolman. And Kyuumonji's trying to explain this alcohol is okay for adults to drink it. And G is like, so it's legal? He's like, yeah, it's legal for adults to drink it. And we have this funny moment where Jiya is like, wait a minute. In the scrolls, it says that the chests of females expand as they mature. And then he stares at Kaede's chest, or lack of chest, I should say. He's like, you're a child. You're lying to me. You can't fool the eyes of the Galactic Patrolman. And then he goes to try to beat up on Kaede. And I'm just like, first you're upset because he's drinking something that's not water. And then when you find out it's alcohol, you're okay with that once Kyuumonji tells you that alcohol is okay for adults. But then when you find out that, or at least when you assume, I should say, that Kaede is not an adult because she's flat-chested, you're going to go beat her up. So you assume Kaede is a child, and you're going to beat up a child? Like, what kind of hero is this? But yeah, eventually Kyuumonji like stops him before he can hit her, and he's like, wait, like, it's different from person to person. Like, Kaede is 21 years old. She is an adult. And of course, Kaede gets pissed off because she's like, how dare you like make fun of my lack of chest? You should apologize. And he like refuses. He just basically ignores her and asks Kyuumonji about the giant fleas. And Kyuumonji explains that they're the underlings of this vampire called Vamp. Yeah, very original name for a vampire, Vamp. But yeah, he's like, well, why don't you fight them? Like the guys we saw earlier had weapons, right? Why don't you use something like that? And Kyuumonji's like, well, like they're really strong and they can fly. And if we kill them, then their boss Vamp is just going to come for revenge. Like he is able to level entire cities. That's why like the police and the army won't intervene with him. And eventually that's when they start approaching a town. And Jiya is like, well, I can't go into the town looking like this. It'll draw too much attention. So he reveals his real body. And his real body is like this tiny looking creature, almost looks like a small little fly. And basically says that I need someone's body. Like I'll control the body and mind. Don't worry. Like, it'll just be like you fell asleep. It won't hurt. And then once I'm done with my mission, you'll get your body back. And so Kyuumonji accepts. He's like, all right, I'll do it. Like I owe you my life anyways for saving us earlier. So you can use my body. So the little bug guy, Jiya, goes into Kyuumonji's nose and basically takes control of his body. And he is super strong, super fast, can jump really high. He's weaker than he is in his Galactic Patrolman suit, but he's stronger than an average human. Like he's able to grab up his suit, leap on top of this water tower, and stash it up there. And he basically goes inside the hotel room, and they basically he starts learning more about humans. So we have him drinking, eating food, and he starts realizing that when he's in control of a human body, everything tastes and feels different. And it's something that like, he can get addicted to. So he starts like gobbling up a bunch of food, for example. And this little moment here, I'm not going to spoil it, but it plays a huge role later on. The fact that these aliens can feel difference emotions and different tastes and have different sensations when they're in control of an Earthling's body. It's going to play a big part. And then we get like a really kind of weird moment where Jiya in Kyuumonji's body decides to like just go patrol the village, see if he can find any information on the vamp, on the giant flea, on its death. And while there, he sees this prostitute being hassled by a guy, could be her pimp, could be, I don't know, a customer. But Gia basically punches him, knocks him out, and she decides to reward him by, yeah, you can see from this image. And I'm just kind of like, isn't that kind of, I don't know. It's weird because it's Kyuumonji's body that's experiencing this. Like, Jiya is experiencing this through Kyuumonji's body, but Kyuumonji's body is the one that's, I'm just going to say, that's having sex with this woman, this prostitute. But Kyuumonji is not aware of this. He's technically asleep. So we have a guy who should be a policeman, a galactic policeman, having sex with a prostitute using someone else's body who is currently unconscious. I don't know. Something about that just doesn't seem right. And then you like kind of just add in all the other things, like the fact that he's willing to beat up a child. Well, he's not willing to beat up a child. He's willing to attack who he thinks is a child in Kaede. Like, what kind of policemen are these? Then again, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. He eventually goes back to the hotel room. He's in another room across from Kaede. And he discovers, like, you know what? It was pretty awesome having sex with this woman. Is it just because of that woman? Or is it like this for all women? So then he decides to go to Kaede and ask her to get naked so that he can see her. And of course, she gets upset, slams the door in his face, calls him a pervert. And that's when a giant flea attacks. And so Jiya rushes out to confront the giant flea who's trying to kidnap Kaede. And yeah, he basically grabs a rifle from a police officer and goes to attack this giant flea. And I'm going to stop it there because I don't want to spoil anything more. This was basically like a third of the series. We're going to get a lot more action and stuff, and just a lot more of like comedy mixed in with the action that's going down. But that's Jiya. I liked it. I thought it was very entertaining. Of course, the moment with the prostitute, like, I'm not one of those, like, I'm not a Puritan or anything like that. Like, it's a gag, it's funny. But at the same time, if you really, really think about it, it is kind of messed up. But it's just kind of played off as a gag. The characters are, I like the characters. Like, even though Kaede is like a spoiled rich brat, there's something likable about her. Like, she's like a jerk, but a likable jerk. She basically reminds me a lot of like early Bulma, in a sense. Kyuumonji is just kind of, I don't know, the kind of goody two shoes character. Jiya is just an interesting character in the sense that he seems kind of very aloof, but also, well, I don't even want to say aloof. Maybe a little bit aloof, really naive, of course, because he's never been to Earth before, but also very like principled. Like, he has his rules and he follows the rules to a letter. But sometimes, like, the rules lead to like weird things. Like, again, the fact that he was about to beat up a woman because she was drinking something that wasn't water, that it was alcohol. He thought it was like a poisonous substance. And then when he realized that it was legal for adults to drink it, he was about to beat her up again because he assumed she was a child because she's flat-chested. The fact that he has sex with the woman, and his immediate thought is, I wonder if it's like this for all women. So then he goes to Kaede and tells her to get naked. So it's like he's kind of just weird. The action scenes are really good. We didn't get too much of that here. We get more in the second and third issue, but I like the action scenes. I thought this was like a really good series, and I'm actually kind of sad that it was only 3 issues. Like I said, it was always made to be 3 issues, so it doesn't feel rushed or anything like that. It's a self-contained little story, but there's like enough here that if they wanted to, they could have made something out of this. They could have made something out of this guy who shares his body with an alien that is fighting to protect Earth. Kind of reminds me a lot of Ultraman in that aspect, only without growing into kaiju size. But also just having this alien that's kind of trying to learn what humans are like and what it's like to be an earthling and stuff. And then also the fact that he's like experiencing sensations that he's never experienced before while in control of another person's body. Like that's played up for more gags other than just the weird sex scene. And it also takes a more serious turn later on. Again, I'm not going to spoil where that goes, but that's a very important theme in this. But yeah, like the artwork is really good. I think Katsuro did an amazing job. The writing's really good. I mean, if you like Toriyama stuff, you're gonna like this. It's filled with like his kind of action and type of gags and comedy and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just a really good, fun, short series that you can read in like half an hour or so. So if you're looking for something to just kind of kill some time with, I highly recommend checking out Jiya. It was a nice, fun read. I will leave a link in the description below where you can check it out for yourself. And yeah, it's kind of a shame that we never got more with Jiya because it's definitely something that's there. There's enough there. There's enough material to work with that we could have continued with the story if they wanted to. Yeah, we're just gonna have to accept that it's a 3-chapter manga series, and that's all it'll ever be. But it was a great, fun 3-chapter miniseries. So yeah, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. This was awesome. Go check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.